Hi everyone! I am Georgiana, your English teacher, and I'm back with a new episode. Let's talk about doctors. In English, there are different types of doctors. For instance, if you have a headache, you see your family doctor or your general practitioner. But what if you have a terrible toothache? I hope you see a dentist. Also, you will improve your grammar without memorizing any boring rules. I have prepared a fun story that you will listen twice from different points of view. And just like that, you'll intuitively learn grammar. Keep listening and get the transcript at speakenglishpodcast.com. I'll see you there. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Speak English Podcast with your host, Georgiana, the podcast that will help you to speak English fluently with no grammar and no textbooks.
Hi everybody, I am Georgiana, your English teacher and founder of speakenglishpodcast.com. My mission is to help you to speak English fluently. This episode is going to be interesting because we will talk about doctors in English. And I will tell you about a surgery I had last week. You will also improve your English grammar without memorizing any boring rules. Before I get started, remember to get the transcript at speakenglishpodcast.com. This way, you listen and read at the same time if you find it necessary. Let's start. Today, I would like to tell you a bit about my experience of having to undergo surgery for the first time. Although you probably didn't notice my absence last week, I was in the hospital for a few days after having gallbladder surgery. I always had difficulty eating some foods, and I didn't know why. Finally, after many tests, the doctor told me he had good news and bad news. I wanted to know the good news first. The good news was that he had found the cause of my digestive problems. I had gallstones in my gallbladder. And the bad news was that I had to have my gallbladder removed altogether. But I was looking forward to the surgery. And since I wanted to avoid getting overly nervous before the procedure, I decided to concentrate on work. I doubled my workload before the surgery so that you wouldn't miss any of my weekly episodes. And on the day of the surgical procedure, I packed a suitcase with all the things I thought I needed while in the hospital. It's always wise to be prepared. But in the end, I didn't need much of it because I spent most of the time sleeping. Now I'm happy to be back home. The intervention was a success, and I feel great. I was even able to start working on a new episode. But enough about me. Let's talk about the different types of doctors in English. Let's start with the general practitioner. What's a general practitioner? If you have a health problem, you usually go to a general practitioner. For example, if you have a cold or a stomachache, you see a general practitioner. We also call this type of physician a family doctor. What if you have a terrible toothache? Do you go to your family doctor? Of course not. In that case, you should make an appointment with a reputable dentist as soon as possible. I know that many of you don't like going to the dentist, but I have a visit every 6 months, and that helps to prevent major complications. So a dentist is a doctor who treats problems related to teeth and gums. Well, what if you have a problem with your vision? What do you do? If you have a problem with your eyesight, an eye infection, or anything related to your eyes, you should see an optometrist. An optometrist is an eye doctor. Well, that's it for now. But don't worry, because next week I'll continue talking about the different types of doctors in English. Remember to get the transcript at speakenglishpodcast.com. let's continue with a fun point of view story. I'll tell you a short story more than one time. Every time, I'll change a grammar point. I can change the tense or the person. This way, you'll intuitively notice the changes. Let's start. Do you remember Mr. Pete? The poor man is always sick. Let's see what happens to him this time. First, in the present tense, in the first person. I'm Mr. Pete, and I've got many health problems. As I'm very organized, I plan every week as follows. On Mondays, I wake up with a terrible stomachache. I don't know why. Maybe because every Sunday I throw a big party and order a ton of food. Usually no one shows up, and I end up eating all the food. So every Monday I go to see a gastroenterologist. On Tuesdays, I feel fatigued. I am tired all day. Even when I blink, I feel tired. I also have difficulty breathing. I try not to blink too much and breathe as little as possible, just in case. So every Tuesday, I see my general practitioner. I don't eat anything on Wednesdays because I always have a terrible toothache that day of the week. So I have an appointment with the dentist every Wednesday. Thursday isn't such a bad day for me. I only have a high fever and chills during the day. On Fridays, I have problems with my eyesight. So every Friday, I visit my optometrist. My family doctor says to me, Mr. Pete, you're in perfect health. But I have to say, I have never seen such a hypochondriac. I'll prescribe a drug with fantastic placebo effects. I hope that from this day on, I will never be sick again. Let's listen to the same story, but in the past tense, in the third person. Mr. Pete was a man with many health problems. As he was very organized, he planned every week as follows. On Mondays, he woke up with a terrible stomachache, and he didn't know why. Maybe because every Sunday he threw a big party and ordered a ton of food. Since no one ever showed up, Mr. Pete ended up eating all the food. So every Monday, Mr. Pete went to see a gastroenterologist. On Tuesdays, he felt fatigued. He was tired all day. Even when he blinked, he felt tired. He also had difficulty breathing. He tried not to blink too much and breathed as little as possible just in case. So every Tuesday, he saw his general practitioner. He didn't eat anything on Wednesdays because he always had a terrible toothache that day of the week. So he had an appointment with the dentist every Wednesday. Thursday wasn't such a bad day for him. He only had a high fever and chills during the day. So he saw his family doctor every Thursday. On Fridays, he had problems with his eyesight. So every Friday, he visited his optometrist. One day, his family doctor said to him, Mr. Pete, you are in perfect health. But I have to say, I have never seen such a hypochondriac. I will prescribe a drug with fantastic placebo effects. And from that day on, Mr. Pete has never been sick again. Poor Mr. Pete. He was a hypochondriac, but a placebo drug cured him. A hypochondriac is someone who continuously worries about his health without having any reason to do so. And placebos are substances that resemble medicines but do not contain any active drug. Okay, it's the end of this short lesson. As you can see, just by changing a point of view of the story, you can learn grammar intuitively. This is one of the techniques that I use in my premium courses. I recommend that you take a look at speakenglishpodcast.com/courses. Okay, it's the end of this episode. Remember to listen to it several times. It will help you with your English. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Go to instagram.com/speakenglishpodcast. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Did you enjoy today's episode? Get the transcript now at speakenglishpodcast.com.